Hello, my name is not Matthew, and in this video I want to talk about the math of D&D 5th edition. Have you ever felt like you crit more than 5% of your hits? Have you ever watched a podcast and wondered how come they land so many crits? Is everybody just cheating? Do we remember our crits more than other rolls? Or are we looking at the wrong place? Is it just math? On a regular roll, you have a 5% chance to roll a crit. If you have advantage, you have a 9.75% chance to crit. This data can be obtained by looking at the distribution of an advantage roll or by Bayesian statistics. The TLDR of Bayesian application is you have a 5% chance that the first d20 is a crit. Within the 95% chance that the first d20 is not a crit, there's a 5% chance that the second d20 is a crit. 5% of 95 is 4.75. 5% plus 4.75% makes a total of 9.75%. The same rationale lets us know that on a super advantage roll, there is a 14.2625% chance to roll a crit. This static vision of crits doesn't do justice to how relevant they are. It is nice to know the percentage of rolls that are crits, but it is more useful to know what is the percentage of crits among the attacks that land. To find that out, we are going to need to reintroduce the notion of net result needed. Every roll has a die component and a bonus or penalty component. Assuming that you know what your target's armor class is, you can deduce the minimal number on your d20 required to hit your target. That is the net result needed. In this table, the gray column represents the chance to roll a number equal to or higher to the given net result needed. Remember that no matter what, a natural one will always be a miss. The column that follows indicates the percentage of those that are crits. As you can see, the harder a target is to hit, the higher the percentage of crits among our hit landed is going to be. To keep on going, we are going to need to postulate a few assumptions. First, we may eliminate some of the net result needed. The reason is that realistically, we do not use every net result needed in game. I argue that we should ignore the net result needed from 1 to 6. Targets that we can hit with a 6 or lower rarely exist, and when they do, they are rarely relevant. A net result needed of 7 is a target that we have a 70% chance of hitting. This is a reflection of the Gygaxian philosophy that players should have a 70% chance of winning, although they should feel like they have a 30% chance of winning. But that's another thing. There is some evidence that the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons is still designed according to that motto. While a net result needed of 15 and above are rare at challenge rating equal to the average party level, a net result needed of 20 may occur with more challenging fight. Or it might happen because of various state of the game, such as the spell Shield. As a result, I don't think we should eliminate those higher net results needed. Second, we need to postulate on a distribution of our net result needed. One may argue for a normal distribution. One may argue for a flat distribution. Or for any other distribution, frankly. No answer is truly correct. Each campaign is going to have its own distribution. For simplicity, I will assume a flat distribution. If you change these variables, feel free to do so. There is no right answer, but we absolutely need an answer. Changing those variables will give different tables, but it will not, however, fundamentally change the conclusions. Now that we have our assumptions, we can divide the sum of one of our crit ratio columns from the net result needed 7 to 20 by 14 to get our respective expected relevance of crits. In other words, we now have an estimation of how many of our hits are going to be crits. On a regular roll, 23.2254 of our hits are expected to be crits. On an advantage roll, 25.6923% of our hits are expected to be crits. And finally, on a super advantage roll, 28.3535% of our hits are expected to be crits. That is what it means to have a 5% chance of rolling a crit. Sure, if you change our assumptions, the expected value will change. However, the notion that a 5% chance of rolling a crit translates to a much higher percentage of crits among hits will not change. If that's what a 5% chance of rolling crit translates to, just how impactful is the champion's improved critical subclass feature? In part 2 of this episode on the math of crits, we will look at the impact of expanding the crit range.